With Central Connecticut State on the schedule, might be a good time to assess where this football team and where the football program, let's make that distinction, stands. We got Cam Underwood on the line, of course, on Thursday night to talk Miami football right here at Hurricanes Live. We've done this 184 times. Cam, how you
Wednesday
doing
night,
tonight?
Yeah. And I mean, hey, we did Thursday night for a couple of years, so I get you're just flexing that muscle. But yeah, hi, welcome, hello, greetings and salutations to one and all. Yeah, so here we are. It's gonna be an hour, so plenty to talk about. And we kind of hinted at this being possible preseason, even though didn't think that it would be probable for a variety of reasons. But yeah, here we are.
So let's run through some news because, of course, I would love to get your take on the Michigan State game, of course, especially with a somewhat non-opponent coming up. I know I'm going to have to drag you through it again.
Oh, boy. No, I mean, hey, look, that I hate to tell you, I told you so. I hate to be proven right in this way. But I told y'all from the summer that there was a game that if there was one that I personally was looking at more than others, go look up the film. I said Michigan State for a variety of reasons for a long time. I'm on record on this show saying it 3 times, repeating that statement 2 other times. I hate that I ended up being proven right. I wish it was just like, Cam, you were, thinking about the past and whatever, and but we'll go back down that rabbit hole. But yeah, and if you're taking bets on when I might turn the volume up to 12 this week in this episode for my little, weekly rant, that'll be the time. But anyway, to the news, Mark.
And along those lines, in terms of my perspective going into the game, this is where preseason projections change week to week. I picked Miami to go 9-3. The one loss outside of the conference, of course, against Alabama, 6-2 record in the ACC. But I got to game week against Michigan State, a team that I believed Miami would beat this entire offseason. But when I had to pull the trigger, I took Michigan State not just against the spread, but to win the game outright. All right. We'll get to the analysis on Sparty and the Canes here in just a second. So De'Ara King will not be playing this week. Is it to the extent where if they were playing a quality opponent that he would be able to play?
Manny Diaz said yesterday, I believe it was, that King is very doubtful for this week with the shoulder. And you saw he left the field after hurting his shoulder last week. Looked like Tyler Van Dyke was like seconds away from coming onto the field. But the media timeout extended the commercial break. And that gave De'Ara King the 37 seconds it took to run back out there, get the ball, throw it a couple of times. It's right in front of where I was sitting in the press box. Definitely some hitch in the giddy up. You could definitely tell on the warm-up throws that it was a throw, but it wasn't like a throw with conviction. And I knew that, he was going to try to be a gamer to go out there, and he was just going to have to gut it out. But like you could tell, even warming up, it was like, that doesn't look right. You know what I mean? I know that everybody has different body mechanics and everything, but you could just tell as he was throwing it. And I tweeted it, and I was talking to some other people sitting around me in the booth there, and you could clearly tell that that there was something up with the shoulder. And so yeah, I don't know, man. If we were playing if this weekend was the Virginia game or the Carolina game or something, I don't know if he would play. It might be a game time decision. We might even trot him out there for a series and then maybe go from there. But it's definitely not just, it's Central Connecticut State, so let's sit him. I'm not so sure that it's not like he really needs to sit out, which might be the case. But yeah, you saw that King left with the shoulder injury during the game last week, came in after that and everything and gutted it out, obviously, to play all the plays. But I don't think that very doubtful. I'm expecting Van Dyke and Garcia to rotate next week or this weekend at the game. Manny Diaz say said that he thinks that both will certainly play. I don't know how you can say I think certainly, but whatever. But yeah, I don't think the King is playing based from that. And then, yeah, I just don't, from what I saw, I just didn't, he's not right. And I know that he's, 90, 95% with the knee, but then the shoulder, that's the thing. And if you follow sports, right, even in baseball, right, with a pitcher or somebody who throws, even a fielder, right, if you have shoulder things, or if you have injuries to the throwing limb, right, elbows you can recover from. We're going to get Tommy John. We can do whatever. The elbows, I can blow it out 17 times and I can come back still throwing 97 with sink and cut. You start to mess around with the shoulder and you're done. And there's a long list of pitchers, of quarterbacks, of people who throw the ball, because throwing the ball overhanded is an unnatural motion. We all know that and everything. But yeah, elbows and wrists and fingers and whatever, forearm injuries you can come through. You start to mess with that shoulder as somebody who throws the ball, yikes. So especially with that was the injury to King, I think it's good that he's sitting out and we're going to see what kind of talent we have behind him. But yeah, I believe that he's going to sit out. Mike Williams on the screen says King may get a medical red shirt. Bro. A seventh-year senior at 25 years old next year. With what we have in the room and what's coming in, that would be a good mental exercise to see if I would even bring him back to start next year. But we can talk about that another time.
Based on what you saw in the spring game, based on what you know of the two through the scouting reports coming out of high school, how would you compare and contrast Van Dyke and Garcia?
Garcia is a little bit more mobile in the pocket. Both of them have real serious arm talent. Again, when you look at the first play of Tyler Van Dyke's high school highlights from his, I don't know if it's junior or senior, I forget which one it is, but the first one, he's pretty much flat-footed and flicks his wrist and the ball goes like 73 yards in the air or 68 or something like that. Literally, pretty flat-footed, not taking a crow hop or anything. Like, yeah, shifting his hips to, go through and everything, but not like, running up and stopping. And then he's pretty much there in the pocket and just, and the ball just flies. So there's that. Van Dyke is a bigger physical dude, 6'4", 230-ish. So he's a more imposing figure. Can move a little bit. He's a maybe run if I have to kind of a thing. You're not going to count on him to be like Derek King, where part of the offense is, hey, you can step out of a sack and go get 20 if we need it. It's more Tyler Van Dyke would be, they're playing, man free. Everybody has their back turned to the quarterback, and I barely step up on third down. And now since everybody's back is turned, I can get 15. You know what I mean? Things like that. Van Dyke has been here for another season, obviously being the prior year recruit. So he should have a little bit better handle on the offense. I think that you saw that through fall camp for sure. Where, yeah, they both did numbers in the spring game, but that was very vanilla. But when you started, having the twos go against the ones, and those windows are closing very quickly, Van Dyke had a little bit more efficacy than Garcia, who's still maybe seeing a couple ghosts, or just, oh my God, I didn't like, that's a throw that I can make, except for that was in high school. If you notice, like Trevor Lawrence threw a pick either week one or the last preseason game on an out route, right? And I'm sure that Trevor Lawrence, I heard a lot of people talking about it. He's like, hey, 247 Canes, we're going to get to your questions in a second. Awesome. But Trevor Lawrence threw an out route, and he's just like, the cornerback, like in college, I make that throw and there's no cornerback who gets there. In the league, Buddy gets there and picks it off. And he's like, what? And so if you take that down to the next level, that's Jay Garcia, where he's like, yo, I can make that throw and take the ball out of the pocket, just hand it. Whoa. I was not expecting that. Safety or linebacker's never there, but you're at the next level up. But both guys have a real high ceiling for performance or potential, both have very, very good demonstrated histories of performance, recruiting pedigree, arm talent. Garcia's younger. He's the highest rated quarterback recruit that Miami's gotten in many moons. So the potential for him might be higher, even though he might be a step further away from realizing that potential than Tyler Van Dyke at the time, or at this time. if I had to put a wager on it, I think that Jake Garcia has the it factor a little bit more for being the guy. But that's my personal feeling on it. But both of those guys are going to have to go be able to go out there and make plays.
We will address comments and questions here in just a second. We've got a number of news and notes that Cam needs to address to get us squared away on what's noteworthy and newsworthy. Jaylin Rivers out for the season.
Jaylin Rivers, unfortunately, starting left guard, super freshman from Jacksonville, playing really, really well. Just came in his second year on campus, his super freshman year, second year true freshman, whatever you call it. But I've been calling it super freshman. I think it fits. So as a super freshman, comes in, steals the left tackle job clean, like second week of camp, 64 at left guard, set it and forget it. That's it. Arguably, I don't think it's even arguable, really, the best performing lineman on the line through the first couple of games. Because Gainer's been average. Donaldson, the whole right side's been switched multiple times. And Zion Nelson has been, auditioning to be a turnstile with how he's been getting run around for a potential first-round draft pick. And I put that in air quotations if you're listening to the audio later because, right. Rivers was playing very well. He was going to be one of the linchpins for this offensive line. Hurt his knee in the first quarter of, I believe it was first or second quarter, last week against Michigan State, came back on the sidelines with crutches and a brace. And, it was, ending his season. He's already had surgery for it. The Manatee has announced that already. He's done for the year, unfortunately. So you lose one of the best offensive linemen off the roster or the best performing one for the rest of the season. So hopefully he's able to come back strong next year. I think that his progressional path in an individual sense is on a trajectory that you would want to see from a recruit of his caliber and stature, one of the bigger physical guys, like 6'5", 330, along that offensive line. So we're definitely going to miss Jaylin Rivers. Hope he has a safe and swift recovery from his already completed surgery. We'll move onward, upward, and forward with the other guys that we have along the offensive line. So, that means let me actually open up the depth chart that was sent out, and I click that button there. So your offensive line, he was actually still listed as the starting left guard because this came out on Monday, and then they announced it yesterday or today that he's out for the year. So Ousmane Traore is listed as the second team left guard, but who knows? Donaldson's played there, Olawason, Scaife, Cleveland Reed is on the 2 deep there. If he's even still on the roster, there's, guys around. We'll see who it ends up being, but it's definitely a step down at that position because, like I said, he was playing the best of any offensive lineman, and now he's done for the season.
There are a lot of annoying and ignorant comments right now in the chat. And the only thing I'll say to that is we're here to discuss football, and that's often turns into a debate or an argument. And there's nothing wrong with that. That's healthy. We both enjoy that, Cam and myself, whether that's between the two of us or with you. We don't shy away from that. But when certain name calling is attached to it, or when people start to brag about what they predicted or supposedly predicted at some point that came true, let's all understand we've all made projections and predictions on things, and we've been right and we've been wrong. So it's no great accolade or accomplishment to be correct. And when I say supposedly, of course, many people tout themselves after the fact that they apparently made some kind of projection or prediction that came true. And maybe they did, and maybe the 12 they got wrong prior to that, they're not touting those.
We're going to put those in over there. But this one that I got right, bro.
Got that one. When you throw darts.
I know, exactly. That's funny.
Other injury status to update everyone on. Gervin Hall will be out, and that has opened up the other safety position opposite Bubba Bolden.
Yeah, I don't know that that's an injury. I think that might be a benching.
Oh, okay.
Or something. But after Gervin Hall has gone viral for running away from a tackle on that bubble screen where the guy was right there, and instead of going after him, he goes into the blocker and then leaves Amari Carter, who was the supporting player there, to assist in making the tackle. He's not in a position to make the tackle. He's in a position to help you complete the tackle that you've started. But left alone, unfortunately, it was a diving arm tackle attempt. But again, if you're the second guy in, that completes the tackle. Only guy there, 17 goes up the sideline for a ways. James Williams ends up catching him. I know that James Williams got a horse collar on that play, but hey, we got him down instead of it being a touchdown. Fine, cool. It's like a pass interference. I'll tackle you here and give you the 15 instead of, queuing up the band and changing the scoreboard, which Michigan State did a lot. Well, they didn't bring their band with them, but change the scoreboard, they did. But anyway, yeah, it seems that Irvin Hall has fallen out of grace and might not play this weekend. And James Williams and Cam Kinchens have been rotating at first string safety next to Bubba Bolden by all reports. So it seems that the true freshman, high 4-star Cam Kinchens from Miami Northwestern and 5-star James Williams from, all over South Florida, but ended at American Heritage, I believe, are going to play, and they're going to play substantial snaps. Now, I know it's against the FCS Sacrificial Lamb, Central Connecticut State. Yes, Miami's going to name their score. They're going to score 50, 60, 70 points. But I already said, I'm not looking – this is not going to be indicative for the rest of the season. This is going to be good. It's going to feel great. So a lot of guys are going to empty the bench. You're going to get them into the game. You're finally going to take the bubble wrap off of Leonard Taylor, I hope, who's not played a single snap yet this year. You're going to do those kind of things. This is going to be fine. It's going to feel good. Yeah. But, you got a short week coming up after this week with Virginia on a Thursday night. Virginia was balling. So, this is going to be fine, but it's not going to be the panacea for all that ails Miami, and plenty ails the Hurricanes at this moment. But in an effort to address that, like I said, Kinchens and Williams are going to, one of them is going to start and the other one's going to play heavy rotation snaps, it seems. And I hope that the coaching staff actually follows through with this, because in the opener against Alabama, they showed well, said, okay, we're going to give them more snaps in week 2 against Appalachian State. And then both Williams and Kinchens played, I believe, 2 snaps each in that game. And after the multiple coaches have said, oh, those guys are going to play more. 4 aggregate snaps of base defense, that's more. And they say, okay, well, they've earned the right to play more against Michigan State. Then they play 6 snaps each. That's more by 50% on top of 4 or 2. Sorry, by 200%. But you went from 2 snaps to 6 snaps, and these guys, you know what I mean? But then you have, plays like Irvin Hall made or didn't, you know what I mean. But yeah, I think that a lot needs to change. So yeah, the lineup changes are going to be a little part of that story, and we're going to see some of the results of that this week. But this is really going to lay the foundation for what happens in ACC play moving forward, starting next Thursday night against Virginia, because Miami's going to blow out Central Connecticut State, but you and I, could score 14 against them, Mark, at least by ourselves, 2 against 11, we can score still.
So regardless of the result on Saturday, regardless of the performance, I will say more so against Alabama, because nobody really expected a win, but maybe a better performance against Alabama. I'll make a distinction between everything that Miami hoped to accomplish this season is basically still in play. Win the Coastal Division, go to the conference championship game, take it from there. Obviously, that becomes a 1-game scenario to possibly win the ACC. That's still in play. Mathematically, just as much as it was 3 weeks ago. There's a difference between the math versus the evaluation of the team, their performance, the competition coming up, and where that stands. So
I'm tired of hearing that. And I'm tired of hearing that because, not from you, but every time that we lose a game, our coaches, for multiple coaches, Al Golden, Randy Shannon, Mark Richt, and now Manny Diaz, all said that same thing. Well, we still have so much to play for. There's still we didn't have anything to play for on Saturday, bro. You know what I mean? We didn't have anything to play for against Appalachian State, where we barely, and I call that a 2017 game, right? And then last week, what happened? That luck ran out. Except for it wasn't like Kenny Pickett barely got pit by. No, Michigan State. And look, man, I listened to the post game that Mel Tucker had and everything. I read all the quotes. Like I still follow the Detroit Free Press, the news, because I'm from Detroit, so I see the sports section, the tweets that come down, and I still click them and I read them. This man called Miami some punks from front. Not like, okay, we're going to get out there and we're going to see. It's going to be noon. And like, look, I know that Miami doesn't own Hard Rock Stadium. I know it's not on campus. But I love the design because, like, the home sideline is in the shade all day, even at noon. And the away sideline is in the hot sun, bro, all day. And it's South Florida. It's a different kind of hot. If you've never been down here when it's in the summer, bro, it's a different kind of hot. So that should be the advantage. He said, no, we trust our hydration. We trust our, medical team. We trust our, strength and conditioning. We trust the gassers that we ran. But not only do we trust as Michigan State what we've been doing in East Lansing, we've talked to people. We've watched and we've seen on film. And you know who are some punks? Those guys wearing orange and green. So what are we going to do? We're going to be physical all day long. And the analogy that he used, he said, we're going to drag them into the ocean and watch them drown. What? So from jump, you said this is going to be a 60-minute game. They are some punks, and they think we're going to quit. But we're going to bring the fight to them and make them quit. We're going to go into their element and out-Miami them and make them the punks that they think that we are. Because we're going to hit them in the mouth again and again and again. And we're not going to go anywhere. And we're not going to bend and we're not going to fold. And you know who's going to fucking fold? Miami. And that came 100% true. And he said it. We saw that they're soft. We see that they don't got the heart. They're not built like that. They are not about that action. But Spartans are about that action. And we're going to go be about that action, and they're going to fold. And what happened? Let me pull up the stats. In the fourth quarter, go back, load it, please. In the fourth quarter, 21-3. In the second half, 28-10 for Michigan State. In our building. In the hot sun that's supposed to be our advantage. We've been out here all the time running these gassers, running the hills that there are to be, in the sand pits and everything like that. And Mel Tucker on film said that team is soft, physically and mentally. And we're going to go whoop their ass. And they're going to fold because they don't want it. And was 100% right. And that's where, and after that performance, tying it back together, right? So after that performance, then you get on the microphone as Manny Diaz and say, everything we have to play for is still there in front of us. You just got your ass whooped on national television. And the coach afterwards said, we know they soft. We're going to prove they soft because they some punks. And now you want to talk about, oh, we got something else. Bro, you weren't ready for the fight? He literally called y'all out and called y'all soft, called y'all punks. You had nothing to fight for then? You got no pride? Pride on the U being a Miami Hurricane? You damn near let Appalachian State do the same thing. Miami's about 2-3 plays to be away from being winless just like Florida State. Truth be told, let the liquor tell it. But you want to talk about, oh, there's this and this and this. What have you done to show and prove that you can really even be in the conversation for any of these things that you want to play for? You think you're going to beat Virginia on a Thursday night? I don't. Should you have? Yeah. You think you're going to go, wherever you got to go to beat Carolina? They can line that up on Mars, and Carolina's averaging the most yards per play in the country. I know their defense is giving up a lot, but your offense is, bereft of any kind of performance. 117th in yards per play, 119th in points scored and everything like that. You want to talk about that? And they're 8.3 yards per play across the season? But you got to be a shootout team. You got to do that against their defense. You haven't proven that you can do that against anybody's defense. But we have all these things to play for now. We're supposed to say, okay, well, wait. 1-2 in the first 3 games. We were joking around, guys. We weren't being serious. We weren't being real. But we're going to be serious. We're going to be real because we have things to play for. We have games that we need to play strongly in. Again, Michigan State called y'all some punks from front and proved it and said, we told y'all we was going to prove that they punks. And we came into their barn and did that to them, and they had nothing to say about it. But I'm supposed to believe that all of a sudden we're going to, do what I predicted that we were going to do and go 10-2, play for everything, win the ACC Coastal. And the more frustrating thing, Jordan Bowman here in the comments and everything, bro, Clemson fan that he is, the more frustrating thing for me, and I tweeted this, if ever there was a year to get Clemson, it's this year. Because they're some mid. DJ Uiagalelei, bro, he's a good college quarterback, but he has some clear deficiencies, and he's not the next elevation of a generational quarterback that they've had for the last 5. He's definitely a clear step down from Sunshine. You can see some, bro, they eked out a win last week. If you're talking about, okay, if you have 91% returning offense, if you have the second most returning starts of any offensive line in the country, you have, coming in, one of the more demonstratedly awesome high school or college quarterbacks, and in high school as well, because he went 47-2 or whatever. All these different kind of things. If you have something coming into the year pointing towards, hey, this season is a season we should push for 10 or 11 wins, be able to compete against, and maybe squeak by Clemson, because there are chinks in that armor, because they are not Clemson kind of national championship blowing out Alabama good, and you're going to waste this damn opportunity? But we have everything to play for. Because we were being serious before, guys. But gosh darn it, tell you, we're going to be better next week. What evidence do I have to believe that?
Good point. Because the teams that do compete and win conference championships also play that way in non-conference games.
More often than not.
Yes, more often than not.
And you might have a G5 conference, okay, their champion who, okay, App State goes somewhere, okay, you lost by 3 touchdowns. But I say that, and they're in the Sun Belt, but, we barely squeak by that. But, it would be something like that. But, yeah, you play like it. You are who you are. You're not going to change overnight. God, I wish that I could. Me being 265 or whatever pounds right now, I would love to wake up tomorrow and be back in my high school weight. I would love to be 185 pounds. Wake up tomorrow morning, hey, all these clothes don't fit anymore. They fit and everything. This face has gotten rounder as you've been watching this. It gets a little bit thinner. I would love to wake up tomorrow and have that happen. It does not happen overnight, fam. So this team that you're claiming that you have in this locker room is not going to undergo that same kind of transformation overnight. It doesn't happen that way, because if it did, and if you were actually like that, you would have done something about it. Maybe against Michigan State. Maybe you would have shown some kind of resistance against Alabama before they went Operation Shutdown at 27-0 in the first half, because, I'm not even going to run hard against these guys anymore, because if we do, we're going to score 1 million points. So, I'm going to take it a little bit easy. We're up 27-0. Most everybody's turned off the television already or turned it on to do something else. Or, hey, shout out to the Solid Verbal. Maybe they're taking their window of opportunity because Miami's getting their doors blown off. I'm going to go do something else before the 8 p.m. game tonight or whatever. But, you don't change overnight. You are who you are. But, maybe you change some things up in the lineup. Maybe you change your process a little bit, which Rhett Lashley said, maybe they got to practice a little bit differently. Lord knows they need some different play calls. Although, there have been some times that he's dialed some stuff up that's either not been thrown or not been able to be thrown because of protection issues, which then, hey, is a great call. Is a great play call if you can't throw the ball. That's one of those if a tree falls in the wood things. Does it make a sound? The answer is yes. There are sound waves. There might not be somebody where they hear it, but a sound is made, in case you were wondering. But, there are way more questions than there are answers for the Miami Hurricanes right now. And this is getting close to, it's not worst case scenario, because worst case scenario would be 0-3 with the loss to Appalachian State, which again is but a couple plays away from having happened. But it's not comfortable right now.
Considering what you just said about the App State game, if you were in charge, if you were making the call on the current coach and whether he stays or who would be the replacement, you're in charge. Do you look at that App State game as just, okay, a win's a win, it's in the win column, it's all that matters, or evaluate it as such? If you really look at the game tape, hey, if they complete another 15-yard pass, it's a loss. So basically the evaluation of the coaching and the preparedness of the team and all that is exactly it's pretty much the same win or lose.
Yeah. I mean, and how am I evaluating that game? I mean, like, look, you could call it, let's call it 4 plays. So let's call 2 plays that App State made or didn't make that they could have made, and 2 plays that Miami made that they could not have made. But you're within a handful of plays either way. It could have, 1 and 2, 2 and whatever. Less than 5 plays go differently. Miami loses that game. I think that the result on Saturday against Michigan State informs the game against Appalachian State. In a vacuum, I still don't think it's proper. I still don't think it meets the standard. But especially then when you back that up with the next performance, that makes that one look even worse to me. Now, I know that there's a win, not a loss on the ledger, but no, I'm not high on that effort. I'm not high on that performance. A win is a win, and a win is better than a loss, but you're walking a razor's edge in that specific instance. So that's not, that's not 41-8 against Notre Dame, where it's definitively, this is good, even with the couple things that kept it from being a shutout. This is demonstrably good. This is a feather in that coach's hat. This elevates their status. The Appalachian State game is not that for me.
All right. Malari with 2 Super Chat contributions. Thank you so much for that. And by not stating anything on the Super Chat, I take that as you just enjoy the conversation, the insight, the discussion here, the content that Cam provides. So thank you so much for those contributions. We have Brandon. Great show, per usual. The last 4 years, Florida averages a number 11 class versus number 16 for Miami. Yet Dan Mullen wins 76% of his games. Manny Diaz, 55 to 56% of his games. In 2021, he has experience, top 20 talent, and a quote-unquote Heisman quarterback. I don't know who he's referring to there, maybe Manny. In Cam's word, this is fireable.
It's hard to controvert that. All these things are things that we said. These are things that we and other people wrote. And you can look at national writers. You can look at Bruce Feldman. You can look at Dan Wolken. You can look at, The Athletic. You can look at Bud Elliott now at 247 Sports, looking at his blue chip ratio for team talent. You can look at the actual released Heisman odds before the season with Derek King in the top 5 for those rankings and odds and everything. You can look at all of those things that not just, me, a Miami alum who runs a Miami blog website, not just that I've written, that credentialed journalists around the college football landscape have clearly stated. So to have all of that and have that known and widely discussed before the season and not hitting and not having any of that bear itself out to be true on the field, not needing that metric of performance at all, it's hard to say that it's not fireable. And I wrote that in The Good, the Bad, the Ugly. Spoiler alert, sorry guys, I'm done with Manny Diaz. It's a matter of time. Because if you are the coach for Miami, you win that game, number 1, or you're competitive, number 2. And what we saw at the end of that game was not competitive. I'm not going to say that in the fourth quarter, the team did quit, which also was not great. But no, this is not it. And you see things that have been issues are continuing to be issues. And again, I would love it, but I don't need a championship every year. This is not playing NCAA 14 on freshman difficulty, which y'all try to slander me when I play that game. I do not play on freshman. I play on Heisman. I'm just really good. Shut up. For 1. For 2, it doesn't have to be 98-0 and every national championship ever. But having Miami continue to be synonymous with mediocrity continue to be synonymous with a program that does less with more talent than pretty much anybody else in the country is unacceptable. For losing games like this, it's unacceptable. And hey, Michigan State might be 8, 9 win team, 10 win teams maybe. You know what I mean? I had an Outcast reference today. I probably did. I don't even know. But and it's Outcast with a K, by the way. The legendary hip hop group. But you know, like I don't even know where it's going with that. But like I don't even need the team to be perfect. And Michigan State, they might be even a really good team at the end of this year. But if Miami's going to be a really good team, you don't get your doors blown off at home by Michigan State. And you're going to think to yourself, Cam, you're the one who said you were looking at the Michigan State game as one that might be tougher than most. That might be a game that could be a thorn in Miami's side. If you look at the games that I've referenced about Michigan State winning over the course of my 30, 35 years of sentient, college football fandom, it's few times and far between that they were blowouts. You know what I mean? It's like a last-second interception, a field goal, like Mark talked about, with the kicker doing the thing. That was a at the buzzer, at the gun field goal to barely get. That's but a tough game to be in that position. But that's like a one kick, one play thing, and that's how. Not no 3-4 touchdowns. I did never say that. I did never think that. And none of the games that I referenced, well, maybe one of the games where it got out of hand. But other than that, many of the games that I referenced over the course of this time, ever talking about the Michigan State game being more challenging, are one score at the end of the game type of scenarios, not 21-3 in the fourth quarter where they're literally calling whatever they want. But I think it was the last touchdown. I had to tip my cap. Beautiful double move because it's a 2-touchdown game at the time. You need the ball. So Tyreek Stevenson and all the corner, that they're going to jump on the stop route, on the curl. So you run a curl and go. He jumps it. The receiver goes on the go and is butt naked wide open by 20 yards. It was the perfect time for the perfect play call. And I said, look, man, you got to give it up. And again, if you want to have another trope that we've talked about on here, and that I've written about clearly on stateoftheu.com, another new quarterback doing numbers when facing Miami. 18 for 31, not the greatest. 261 and 4 tutties and no interceptions for Peyton Thorne. Come on, bro. But yeah, I mean, it's just, how is it so easy for everybody else all the time against us? You know what I mean? It's infuriating. And having seen that, and especially what happened in the second half, where a Manny Diaz coached team has traditionally done their adjustments at halftime, come out stronger, and played and not quit. You have no adjustments of note. You have no really efficient performance of note. And y'all quit? That's all I need to see from you, Manny. It's a matter of time. Somebody else needs to be the guy. Whether it's this year, whether it's next year, whether it's 2023, whenever it is. Me, myself, personally, I'm counting down until we have a new coach because it's not going to get any better than this. Sorry.
I guess this is just piling on, but I will add to the Dan Mullen, Manny Diaz comparison that I can almost assuredly say that if you did the metrics on the opponents, that Dan Mullen's done it against a tougher schedule.
Oh, yeah. No, Miami continues to lose to teams that we shouldn't lose to. And again, even if you want to exclude Michigan State from that and say, hey, this is going to be a 9 or 10 win team this year, why are we not even being any kind of close to competitive? Again, against a decent team. Carolina last year, Alabama, the list grows, and it's not a good thing. And then you look up the road, and against tougher competition, they're either competing or winning. I mean, hell, you saw it went down to the wire with them in Alabama last weekend. And I mean, I don't like Florida, so I was kind of rooting for Alabama. But like that game was my dream scenario for Miami. Let it be competitive into the fourth quarter. Let it be a 1-touchdown game, even if they have the ball and they score at the end and it ends up being 2 touchdowns. Let it be a game. It was a joke halfway through the second quarter. Not great. No, Jordan Bowman, recruiting is not Miami's problem. Player development and coaching are the issues. You're correct. But if we continue to lose, recruiting is going to turn into a problem, which I do not want to have happen. So, do something.
So would you do a USC and pull the plug right now, or watch this play out?
If it were me, I'd pull the plug. If it were me, and I know that, again, I'm looking at the path forward. This is not it. He's tried so many different things. He's lost so many games. If you're going back to the FIU game, remember it was like 0-6 after the bye week, or 0-5 until he won his first game after a bye as head coach. When you have extra time to prepare, so you should ostensibly be more ready, spry, give a couple extra days off, to have fresh legs and everything. Could never, like all these things. I don't see it. Now this engenders the conversation. There's been, things where people are saying that if Mario Cristobal were ever to leave Oregon, Miami and Alabama would be the two jobs that would give him pause to think about. Alabama, well, duh. And Miami, he's an alum and a two-time national championship player here. He's from here, went to Christopher Columbus High School and all these things, I make him say no. And y'all laughed, and y'all laughed, and y'all laughed when I wrote it. And I know that we profiled a whole bunch of people, but I said, let me profile this person because this is the guy that I authentically want. And I know y'all are going to not like it, but trust me, when I created the hashtag, Let's Be Jerks, and I profiled Lane Kiffin when he was Alabama's offensive coordinator to take over the Miami Hurricanes in 2015, y'all had all this stuff to say. Now you look at Lane at Ole Miss. You wouldn't want that here? You sure? Because I would. And again, you don't gotta like us. Let's be jerks. If they hate, then let them hate and watch the money pile up. Shout out to 50. Shout out to Kanye. You quoted 50 saying that. Bro, come on. So those are guys at the top of my personal list. Now, are we able to afford them? Who knows? Am I going to make a run at them? Yeah. Am I going to have to call maybe some NFL alumni or maybe some people from, other alum from the U? Say, hey, we need a couple $1 million to pay this buyout and, to augment, the salary for this coach. Not in perpetuity, but for the length of their contract. Then I'm making those calls. But if it were me, with all due respect to Manny Diaz, I've seen this movie. I've seen how this ends. I'm not going to wait around until the end. If I were in charge, would be pulling the plug. Now, I know everybody hates Blake James. I know that everybody says, there's these, the constraints of the University of Miami. The first thing that I wanted to say is the University of Miami absolutely has money. So saying that they do not is just inauthentic. Take it as you will. The other thing I saw, people were trying to say, oh, well, we've only done the University of Miami, the med school or the School of Music and I am a proud alum of the Frost School of Music, and y'all don't never want to claim the goddamn School of Music. A top 3 non-conservatory school of music, one of the top 2 best jazz programs in America, next to the University of North Texas. Again, that's non-conservatory. Y'all never want to claim the Frost School of Music, but now you want to say that we're taking money away from athletics, and now you want to come over and talk about the School of Music? Go to hell. Go to hell. Because I've been here for 20-something years talking about the School of Music all the time. I was like, oh, that's not really a thing. But now we got a little bit of shine, right? Because we got some donation infrastructure and everything. And now you're saying that's why the football team is bad? Go to hell. Absolutely. But if it were me, the money constraints, lies, and I'm making the change. To Kevin Davis's super chat on the screen. First of all, thank you very much, Kevin Davis. The question is Hugh Freeze. Would I like him as our coach? An unequivocal no is my answer. Unqualified no. If you don't know, go look it up. Absolutely not. Ugh. I'm frustrated, Mark. I'm frustrated. I'm mad.
I was actually thinking something completely unrelated during that rant. I was thinking the good Lord blessed me for me just to, I'm not going to say blindly, but at the time, we're going back 7 years, reach out to State of the U and just contact, hey, do you get anybody available over there that can come on here and talk some Miami football?
Wow.
And I latched on to Cam, and we've been recording these videos and doing these live streams ever since, and Cam brings it.
It's been 7 years?
Jeez, I guess so technically we're working on 8. It was the Miami Louisville bowl game, which was at the conclusion of 2013, correct?
That's right.
Working on 8 years.
Yeah, so that's like 3 residences and 2 jobs. Holy goodness. Wow.
That's what I was thinking about while you were going through that rant. That's what was going through my mind. I was thinking, the good Lord blessed me to run into Cam and bring him on here and have him come on all these many times. It's always an education, and it's always inspiring. Well,
I do what I can. I had an inspiring speech at the secret day job today. I felt good about myself. That was nice.
I'm sure it was stellar.
It was, it was just we had some struggles today, and I was just being very uplifting of my team for going through some struggles, because it was tough, and I was there with them as it was tough, and just letting them know that I appreciated the perseverance through something that we all know was tough, and it was not easy, and I just was just appreciative of them being with me on the team. So yeah,
I'm sure that will stay with them, both that you were there to get through the adversity with them, and then of course, acknowledged that. Yeah. One thing I'll say about Miami's string of coaches since Larry Coker, really what I mean is since Butch Davis, because Larry Coker's success, we all qualify that to a certain extent. I don't know that there's, I can almost guarantee, not a program in America of Miami's stature. We're going back 20 years to the year 2000 of Butch Davis's final season, where, and I'll put Mark Richt in a separate category. I think now that we can take in his tenure at Miami, what happened, what went wrong, and now seeing, unfortunately, where he stands from a health standpoint, that he was at the end of the line. Miami did not get the best of Mark Richt. Not that he intended it that way, but Miami did not get the Mark Richt that led Georgia to 8 or 9 top 10 finishes and SEC championships and one of the best winning percentages in the country. Miami did not get that Mark Richt. So aside from Mark Richt, who obviously in part took the job because of Miami's status, but also because of his connection to the school, that Miami, and I don't, again, think this could be stated about any other program in the country at their status, has not hired a coach that has proven either prior to the Miami job or after the Miami job at any other job that they are successful Power 5 coaches. Nobody has succeeded at Miami to Miami's standard. Pretty much Richt was the only guy to some degree accomplished anything. So nobody since Butch Davis succeeded at Miami or proved before or after their Miami tenure that they could coach and succeed at the Power 5 level.
Yeah, I mean, we've hired multiple Temple coaches, so hey, put that on your radar, because might be looking for another coach. So who's at Temple now? Is it Rod? What's his face? Rod Carey from Northern Illinois? Is he still over there? Oh, great. But you just have Randy Shannon was a first-time head coach. Larry Coker was a first-time head coach in his 60s. Manny Diaz is clearly a first-time head coach. Al Golden, was, he was stepping up from Temple. Manny Diaz stepped up from Temple after 10 days. There's not experience. You don't have anything, and I know you're always saying, okay, well, in the good old days, you found Jimmy Johnson and he was stepping up the ladder. Yeah, but he came from Oklahoma State. You know what I mean? They're the other team in Oklahoma. I know those the SWAC, Southwest Conference Big 8 days, but that's still a major team, that you're getting him from and things like that. Butch Davis, defensive coordinator for the Dallas Cowboys and things like that. So, hey, maybe we look to the pros. I know everybody's going to say, well, Joe Brady went to Flanagan and Pembroke Pines and I think that he's on a fast track to an NFL head coaching job. So I don't know that he would come here. Plus the fact offense would be great. Defense, not so sure. But, yeah, there's not been success at Miami with any of those guys. There's not been real experience with anybody who stepped into the seat, with the exception of Al Golden had been a head coach before, so that's one of the 5. And Mark Richt had been a head coach before, but even for all that he had previously done, they ran him out of town in Athens because he was on the downslope of his career. So, yeah, it's been a long time. And, maybe we need to change the paradigm and go after a proven commodity. Now, I'm not saying they're going to go hire away Nick Saban from Alabama or Dabo from Clemson or, Dave from O State or something. You're not going to go get one of those guys. But the world of coaching is so much larger than what we've looked at. And, there's so many people who are saying, hey, if you remember, we didn't even do a search last time. Mark Richt retired on a Sunday. I was at brunch, told you about that. And then we called Manny and just said, hey, do you want the job? Where's the search in that? Where's the, even inquiring if there's anybody else? Where's the, going and selling? The U is a great brand. The U is a great job. You can get better. And at some point, you're going to realize, I think that what we're seeing is you get what you pay for. And you're trying to be cheap. And you're trying to always, you're trying to chase the night, catch lightning in a bottle. My boy Joe, Big Joe, went to Miami together. We were roommates my sophomore year, his junior year. He ended up going back for his MBA to the University of Miami Business School. He ended up working for Bacardi, which was amazing. Subsidized my social life for many a year. For a few years, I told him it's the year of yes, Joe. So if you call me, I'm going to the event. Now, you know that I'm a high school teacher. So if you call me at 2:00 in the morning on a Tuesday, it's on you. But I'm going to get changed and I'm going to be there. And we went to the Shore Club for New Year's one year. The tickets were $10,000, $15,000, something like that. But Bacardi free because I ain't got no $15,000 for that. So I'm there and it was incredible. It was one of the best New Year's ever. The people that we saw, the drinks that we had, it was immaculate. But the next New Year, trying to replicate that, it just wasn't the same. So you're trying to chase that moonlight. You're trying to catch that amazing, because you don't know that it's going to be an epic night when you first get out, but a little bit in, you're like, yo, this feels different. This is going to be amazing. And the next time you're like, hey, can I recreate that? But you can't recreate that. And so with Miami, the connection, because there's always a connection, guys. The connection is you got lightning in a bottle with the Jimmy Johnson. You went and got a Butch Davis. You got them on the upward trajectory of their career. And every time since then, you've tried to do that with a Randy Shannon. You didn't get Schiano because you let him go to Rutgers the first time. You let him go to Rutgers, promoted Shannon. Eventually, you promote Shannon to head coach. But all these other hires of these guys without much experience, you're trying to chase that moonlight that you had from that one great New Year's Eve at the Shore Club, that one time, and you cannot recreate that. And we've seen that over and over again. So spend the darn money, go after somebody, and go get the kind of coach who can actually perform here. Because again, seen this movie before, Manny Diaz is not that guy. As nice a guy as he is, and as much as I wish that he would be the guy who could succeed or put Miami in contention to be, have that end of the year game, to go to the ACC championship game, to put Miami in that stratosphere. I wish it were him. I'm so sorry to let y'all know that it's not. So let's go find somebody who can do that. And again, maybe not trying to go and see, oh, what's this great high school offensive coordinator that we can grow all the way up like they're, Why don't we go get a proven head coach? And because we have the money to go do it. Because what we've been doing, trying to chase that moonlight, isn't working. So let's not chase the moonlight. Let's go to brunch the next day and do something different that's going to work.
Malari, I believe this is the 4th Super Chat contribution. Thank you so much for enjoying the show. We appreciate you.
You'll love to see it.
All right, Cam. It's been amazing. Thank you so much for putting your perspective on.
Yikes. It's 8:02 already. Sorry, go ahead.
No, I'm just saying thanks for putting your perspective on the state of the program and the team and setting us straight.
Yeah. No, hour flies by when I'm ranting and raving because I'm angry at the performance. But yeah, so Central Connecticut State this week at 12:30. It's on regional sports, so that would be the Bally Sports Network in Florida if you're around. So yeah, Miami's going to win big, but it doesn't really matter because it comes down to what happens against Virginia next week, Thursday and beyond. So for coverage of that and all kinds of things, because we've even gotten some contributors who have not let their fingers do the walking on a keyboard for a while. They are talking over here. So Taz, I'm probably going to see you if I go this week, but we'll see. But yeah, stateoftheu.com is the website. Twitter, Instagram, and Facebook at The State of the U. My personal Twitter account is at Underwood Sports, where I am very behind on tweeting about all kinds of things, including video games. I've been playing an F1 video game, which I really enjoy. I'm starting a new career in that, so might tweet about that, might follow along. But yeah, and we're going to be here sometime next week. But remember that the game is on Thursday. And yeah, but again, sorry to let you guys know that I am 100% out on Manny Diaz, but like always, because I bleed orange and green, let's go Canes and see what happens.
I am just seconds away from having a conversation on your favorite, the Florida Gators. So we will go do that. We'll see y'all later.
See ya.
Thank you so much.